Welcome, WWE Smashdown.
Is this a wrestling show now?
I hope not. Not MMA. No, I can't do that.
Elisa, welcome to the wardrobe. I'm Rylan Deemer.
And I'm Elisa Wildy. I questioned whether I should say my last name again or not.
We've got a great show for everyone today. I am addicted to Squid Game. So my wife and I binged the entire show over the course of, I don't know, it was probably 5 days, which is a lot because we had a lot going on too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome. Have you seen it?
No.
What?
I don't know if I want to see it just based on what I hear. Dan has watched 3 episodes. I think I don't like the killing part, maybe. But I think about I imagine what about Hunger Games? I liked Hunger Games, but that's because I don't see the people getting killed.
Right.
So it's different.
Yeah, Hunger Games isn't bloody, right?
No.
I only saw the first one.
I don't even think they show. I mean, they might show one person dying from after effects of something happening to them, but not being killed. So I think that's what would bother me. I don't like watching that kind of stuff, and it makes me uneasy. I'm trying to think of
what. So what do you feel like when you?
So.
How do you feel uneasiness?
You just do. It's almost like a nauseous.
Where's that sensation? Is it here?
My stomach.
Your stomach.
Yeah.
Is it a queasy?
Yeah. So I'm trying to think of this movie. Maybe you know what it is, but they're at a big dinner table and they have to do stupid things to win this game or get out of the room. They're locked in the room or something and they might kill each other. And I can't remember the name of the movie now, but
I haven't seen the Saw movies. Is it one of those?
No, it's not
Okay.
Well, it's not really a scary movie. It's just they have to kill each other or do stupid things that is tortured to get out of the room or win the game, or they're playing a game maybe.
Is it a gory movie?
I don't remember because I was watching it at someone's house and
If you're watching this right now and you know exactly what she's talking about, help us out in the comments because I think she's just making it up.
I feel it's the gathering, the table, something about being together at a table, but that's the title. I think 20 minutes into it, I left. I left the house I was at and I went outside.
The entire house?
Yeah, it was my boyfriend at the time. I just left. I said, I think I told him, I was I can't watch this. And I eventually felt so bad that I just left and I got in my car and I went away.
Is that what precipitated the breakup?
No, not at all. That was way before. But I couldn't watch it. And so I think a lot of that type of stuff, there's other movies that have torture scenes and I just can't watch it. I close my eyes. Nightcrawler is one. It's a good movie.
Wait, is that a superhero movie?
No, I can't think of the main character. But there's one little torture thing going on where they're pouring hot, boiling water on someone. I can't do it.
Yeah, I don't like graphic torture scenes. And, well, I won't say anymore. But I have to close my eyes during some stuff, especially if there's something eyeball related. I can't handle it at all.
So there's eyeball related things.
Tell me. I'm not saying that's the case in Squid Game. Okay. It may or may not be.
It's up to me to find out.
Yeah, but I if something like that comes on, I have to close my eyes real tight and ask someone else to tell me when the scene's over.
Yep, I've done that before, but interesting about eyeballs.
Something about them. It's also when I think about what foods I would eat, I've had insects, I've had I don't know, heart, liver, all sorts of different organs. I'm sure I've had more exotic than that, but I would never eat an eyeball.
Huh.
I think I would try brain, but the idea of eating an eyeball is so awful to me.
I'm trying to imagine it myself right now, but I don't know if it bothers me per se. But I think maybe once it's on my plate.
Looking at you.
I don't know. I don't know. What does a cooked eyeball look like? Is it cooked? I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah, I hope it's cooked. Anyway.
So what about Squid Game makes it so good? Is it the plot?
So there's a few layers to it, right? The acting is amazing. Okay. There's probably only one part in the entire show where I felt like the acting was off, and I think it was probably more of a language issue than anything else.
Yep.
So yeah, the acting is great. the cinematography is like really amazing. Like the way that they frame every shot, it just feels so like, I don't know. It like really captures like this level of like intrigue behind everything.
Yep.
And yeah, I guess speaking of intrigue, there's like so much in every episode that like captures your attention. You're always left wondering like, oh, like how's this gonna play out? Like who's gonna who's gonna take like what actions in this situation?
Well, because what I'm like picturing,
who's behind it all?
I've never seen it, so I don't think I'm spoiling things. But like they play like children's games and they need to win. So I guess I was just confused how the plot continues and like how it doesn't just seem like every episode they play a game, people die. They play a game, people die.
Yeah, so there's like there's events like that in the show, right? Okay. But then there's also like unplanned events as well. Okay. And then there are like plot undercurrents, like people trying to go outside of like the structured program in different ways to like gain an advantage. And then there are like different players who are like running things behind the scenes and you don't know how far the conspiracy goes. Yeah. So you're like sitting there the whole time and there's like, you know, the events and then there's like, you're trying to like look for those little clues and like, you know, you see stuff occasionally and you're like wondering, oh, okay, how does that play into this? So like you're kind of like trying to like solve the puzzle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That does sound interesting. I don't know.
Yeah. I think there's definitely violence, right? And yes, a lot of it is pretty explicit. But there's only like one scene that made me uncomfortable. Okay. Everything else is pretty quick. And it's not like the camera lingers for a long time on these like gory scenes. And you don't see like guts. It's more like blood.
And I don't know if like gore really bothers me. I prefer not to watch it if I was choosing between shows, but like I don't know if that is the part that bothers me. I think I've probably talked about it before. I forget now. If I'm such an empath where I just feel like what they're feeling and I don't like it. And so that's why I don't like torture. But if I see a scary movie that's like very fake blood coming out, then I'm okay with that.
Sure. Okay.
Because I know it's like just out there and weird.
This might not be so bad from like a violent standpoint then. Okay. But there's also tons of emotional scenes, especially as like the show progresses. You will really feel and like connect with the characters and the acting is so incredible. Like there's one episode where when we got done watching it, like I couldn't watch another because it was just so emotionally impactful that I mean, we were both like done and just couldn't watch more.
Do people cry? Like characters cry in the movie?
Oh, that's a good question.
Then I'll start crying.
I don't remember.
Okay.
I don't remember if people actually shed tears. Yeah, there is some crying, yeah.
Okay, because then I'd probably cry, but it also depends how much of an attachment to the character I've made through the series already.
I think you will cry, yeah. Well, I like that, though. Like when a show does that to me. When a show like makes me cry, then I'm like, okay, this show did something right.
Yeah, I agree. I like it sometimes, but there is the one movie, We Bought a Zoo. Like the mom dies at the beginning of the movie.
What's the name of the movie?
We Bought a Zoo. I'm pretty sure this is the one.
We Bought a Zoo?
Yeah. The mom dies at the beginning of the movie. It's related somehow. I don't remember. You will come to find out if I watch a movie with someone, I will not remember the movie within a week. But anyway, the main point is the mom dies at the beginning. I cry, okay? The whole movie, they like flash back to her dying. And so I'm crying every single time. And by the like fifth or sixth time, I was like, I swear if they show it one more time, I'm walking out of the movie theater. Because that was annoying. But I think it's like a decent movie. You just have to get over the fact that she died.
I'm amazed by how much like the music during a scene can totally change how I react to it. Like if the music is right, I'll just cry.
Yeah.
If it's not right, I'll be like, this is boring. Like
it makes me wonder if I watched the same, like if I knew the scene really well and it was very emotional, I wonder if I turned the sound off or the music off. Mm-hmm. If it would still, because I don't know if I paid attention to the music before.
Okay.
That'd be, yeah, I don't know if I have.
Do you remember that, speaking of crying, do you remember that what was it, like a Super Bowl ad? I think Google put it out. And it was like all about like connecting and this like guy getting older and like having the memories still around or something. And
I don't remember. I
made like everyone cry.
Yeah, was this like the most recent or 2 times ago or something? Or was it?
It was pre-pandemic. It was when I was still living in Chicago.
Oh, then I don't know if
it's probably like 3 or 4 years ago.
Know that one. But I feel like there was a commercial last Super Bowl that I cried at. But I don't remember what it was. So I don't know if it was. It might have been. Really?
No.
I was like going to say, I thought it might have been Google again. I don't know though.
They're pretty good at playing on our emotions, right?
Yeah. I feel like Doritos is always one that I know that is funny, or Mountain Dew. I don't know. My dad likes the Budweiser commercials since you brought it up because of the Clydesdale horses in it.
How's your dad doing?
Good, I think.
Have you not talked to him?
No, I see them. I've probably seen them like once a week lately, which is a lot for me. I mean, I live close by, but I don't usually see them once a week. But I think since I was coaching, I coach like right next to where they live. So I saw them a lot more, either having dinner or just stopping by. Like I stopped by because my mom made some baked goods this week. So I was just like, yeah, I'll take some. Stop by for 5 minutes. But it's good. I'm trying to plan a trip and see if my dad wants to come on it to do some hiking and stuff.
Where at? Or maybe don't advertise it. I don't know.
I don't know. So I was like, maybe I'll talk about it after I go.
Yeah.
But I don't know if he's coming yet or not. So still an open invitation.
Cool.
But yeah.
Shannon and I went to visit my parents this past weekend. Yeah. It's our first time seeing them since the pandemic.
Oh, I didn't realize that when you were doing. Okay.
So, I mean, they live in northern Michigan, and it's like, I mean, so my mother, she and I share the same autoimmune condition. So we've had to be like extra careful during the pandemic because like the thing that our condition does is like the same thing that was like killing people who were getting COVID.
Yep.
It's that cytokine storm where your body basically has like because of the damage from the inflammation, your body thinks that it's an infection, starts attacking that spot, which causes more damage, and it's just kind of like cyclical.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so we had to be extra careful, and that meant that basically I just haven't seen my parents since it all started, right? And then we got vaccinated, and finally we're able to, align schedules and everything and get over there.
Yeah.
And it was awesome. I was telling you before that they were like avatars of spiritual peace. So like when I'm around them, I just feel so much more relaxed. And they live in the woods, so it's like
that's a relaxing place to be.
Yeah. So we did some hiking in the woods with their blind dog.
Oh.
And we like took a trip to a beach and walked along the beach and like found pretty stones.
Yeah. So
they're just a really good.
Like growing up, when you look out in your backyard, is it just a bunch of trees?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll show you pictures after we're done recording, because you'll be like,
yes, you would if it's what I'm picturing in my head right now. Because I feel like I've been to like other places, maybe stayed in an Airbnb that was kind of like woodsy and whatever. But yeah.
I keep fiddling with these clothes because they're attacking me. They're trying to suck me into the wardrobe. So anyway,
my parents still have like a little bit before they retire, but I'm always like, I hope they retire soon, at least with my mom, because she gets so stressed from her job. And I was like, she needs to retire soon. So I feel like I'm the opposite almost, but like there's different things to think about, I guess.
Yeah, but it was a great weekend.
Did you see other people while you were there besides family?
Nope.
Just a family weekend?
Yeah. Well, we didn't even tell anyone else that we were in town, because it was, we flew in and had to like rent a car and then drive hours north to like get to their place. And we also didn't really have time to like stop by anyone else's place. Yeah. So,
because how long were you there? 3, 4 days? 3?
Oh, not even. It was 2 full days.
Okay.
So
because that's really quick.
It's not a lot of time, especially since we hadn't seen them in so long. So we really just sat around the house catching up, did that one walk through the woods, one walk along the beach, and then
it's time to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I remember that from coming home on weekends, like in college. It just felt so quick.
Yeah.
There's not a lot to do in that time. And people are like, oh, why didn't you tell me you were in town? I was like, I don't have time for you.
I mean, yeah. I mean, that's basically
Yep.
it. We didn't see anyone, just my parents. So.
Yep. Have you seen your siblings since?
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. So the city that we flew into is near where my brother and sister live. So actually, on the way out, when we drove back Monday morning, we had some time before going to the airport. And so we had lunch with my brother and my brother-in-law. Okay. So that was cool. Yeah.
That is cool, yeah. I didn't realize they live close to, or close to your parents, I mean. Or close to the airport.
Close to the airport. Okay. They don't live close to my parents. Okay. But yeah, it was good to see them too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. I haven't done anything this week but study. I'm done coaching volleyball. We ended up 6th out of 12. It's going to be a good stress relief on time at least, but not that I get stressed coaching because I really love to do it, but yeah, I just have more time to do what I need to do or to do stuff for myself now, I guess. Yeah. So that's good.
Did it feel sad to leave the teams?
Dan asked me, he's like, did you cry? And I'm like, no.
I think we've talked a lot about crying today.
I cry easy. I actually have a story about that after I answer this question. Okay. He asked me, did I cry? I was like, no. I think it's just because at this point in time, I'm just like, I'm ready to be done. I guess back in like high school and when I played volleyball then or in club, I would cry at the end of each season. But I think it's because I missed the friends that I won't see as much anymore. Whereas this time it's different. Like these are just players. If I were to coach again, they just got a year older. I'll see them in the gym still next year. So it's not, I don't know. It's just something I like to do while I'm doing it. And I'm glad it's over when it's over. Because then I have like free time again. But then I look forward to it when it comes around again. I need that break to be able to keep enjoying it.
So I want to ask you about what you plan on doing with your free time, but I also want to hear your cry story.
Well, so it's not that good of a story, but I went to a wedding, like, 4 weeks ago now. But just sitting there, like, this is a friend of mine growing up, probably mostly through high school, and then I still was in touch with her through college a little bit. But I was just crying my eyes out, as soon as the bride comes out. As soon as she's walking down the aisle and she gives her dad a hug, the first dance with the dad. I was crying at every single thing. And I think part of it is like, that's my friend from high school. We're growing up. Like that's what part of it was we're growing up. But I also cry at every wedding because I think it's so like special and sweet. And so whenever I'm at a wedding, I cry. Yeah.
I think that's a great story. Hey, everyone, let's give her a round of applause. Yay. That was wonderful.
That's funny because Dan, the other day I told Dan something and I was like, hey, this happened. And he just was silent for a little bit. And I was like, he's like, is that it? That's all you had to tell me? There's nothing more to the story. And I'm like, nope. That's how a lot of my stories go home.
Yeah, I tell some duds as well. So
mine are frequent.
I don't remember anything we talk about on these episodes. Like when we finish recording, it's like 80% of it's gone from my head.
Well, yeah, sometimes when I re-listen, I'm like, oh yeah, we did talk
I'm
about
always
that.
like, oh, that's so interesting. Even though I was like actively in the conversation.
Yeah, or when you ask me like what the title should be, and I'm like, we talked about that. Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's the hardest part. That's like the nice part about editing. It's like you actually like remember the topics.
Yeah, because I sometimes when you ask, I'm like, I have to go back and listen.
Yeah.
I guess another thing that I've been pretty obsessed with lately is the Gabby Petito case, which has been ongoing for a while now. So, it might be old news to some people. Yeah. But I've been checking it like twice a day just to see if they found the boyfriend. I Google his name.
You're really into this
in the morning, in the evening, to see if they discovered anything.
I still don't understand why this one captured your attention.
So
is it just like the TikTok effect?
It's probably that, but I think the reason the TikTok effect started, this is just my personal opinion. I don't think anyone else has thought this, so I don't know. But I think it's because something happened. Like if you think about someone that's missing, there's a lot of people that are missing, and obviously people don't get noticed or like TikTok doesn't blow them up. But I think what this one was so interesting was that he came home alone from across the country without her and didn't say anything to the parents, didn't do anything about it for like at least over a week. And I think that makes it
Whoa.
pretty obvious about what happened. So I think the fact that everyone has this theory about what happened that seems obvious, of course we don't know anything yet. I think that's what makes it so interesting. Because I feel like everyone knows what happened. I feel like I kind of relate that back. I wasn't alive around this time, but I watched the Netflix special of the O.J. Simpson case. Like, I feel like a lot of people were interested because everyone felt like they knew what happened.
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel like that's a similar thing.
That's an interesting take on it. I hadn't heard anyone express that before.
I know. Well, I haven't either. And so I'm like, why am I the only one?
Right.
Why am I wrong?
I don't think you're wrong. I think that's a valid theory about why it's capturing more people's attention.
Yep.
Or one reason why.
Yeah. And like, because I also don't think with a lot of other missing people, we don't know the story of what happened. It's all of a sudden the mom hasn't seen him in a week and we basically know nothing.
Yeah.
But this time, like they were like YouTubers. So like she was posting stuff constantly to social media anyway. So we already had like a timeline of everywhere they were. And so like it just made people dig in.
Yeah. So there's like video and pictures that people could like try to spot clues in.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. And I mean, a lot of it is taking too far. Like there's so many theories and I'm not into that portion as much, but sometimes I watch them just because it's entertainment and like their theories entertain me. But I know like what people actually like we know like what's been released by like lawyers and police, but they like FBI and police probably know so much more than we do. And like they would have seen something like that, especially with the internet blowing up about it and not. So we don't need to speculate. I agree with that. I don't like the speculation. But I think it's also just really annoying because when they didn't know where she was, he was still at home, if he was at home, and just a person of interest. And so they couldn't arrest him for anything for her being missing. And I think that bothered a lot of people. But
well, also it's like, if he's a person of interest, shouldn't they be trying to like track where he goes?
Well, yeah, that's what I think a lot of people blew up. And I think it was like a day or two ago now, the police said we did everything we could to like watch him without like kind of breaking the law or like being too close. And I guess he went hiking. Well, his parents say that he went hiking one day and just didn't come back. And so who knows? Like you don't know whether to believe the parents either. Yeah. But they could also be arrested if they knew that they were lying to the police. He could have said he went hiking and didn't also. So
this is probably obvious to you and everyone, but I don't know hardly anything about this case. Yep. But yeah, it's fun seeing how into it you are.
Yeah, I feel like it's kind of funny to me. Like I'll update Dan about it. Well, at the beginning, I updated him a lot because I was like, they found her body. Like that was the biggest update probably. But then like a day or two later, like he was missing. So those are like the biggest updates I probably gave him. And then now it's just like, no, they still haven't found him. I don't keep him updated on all the little details that I figure out because I think I figure out most of the things that get reported by news outlets. But yeah, I follow a couple of people on TikTok that I trust to like only report what the news is saying. But then of course TikTok feeds me all the other funny theories. I say funny. Like they thought a hand was coming out of the garden.
Oh.
That was interesting. But I think this case also bothers me because of how silent the parents are too. And they probably have details about what happened. Because I just feel like he can't come home from a road trip without her and no one questions why.
And you think that the parents are possibly, maybe this is getting into speculation, but
I don't mind.
You think they may be involved or protecting their son or something?
Yeah, well, I feel like, they're protecting him, but maybe the speculation part is I actually don't know, like, how much they know. We don't know. He might not have ever said that he killed her, but they got a lawyer for a reason and they aren't saying anything for a reason, I feel like, So, like,
well, I don't know if I would assign or attribute, like, malice to that. Because I feel like if I were in that position, even if I weren't protecting my kid, I feel like I would have a lawyer for sure.
Yeah. But like, why did you get a lawyer? Because something happened, right?
Well, because like, legal stuff is so weird. And like, when you are just like talking, sometimes you'll say something and like use the wrong word or you like misstate something just because you're talking and you make mistakes or
I agree with
whatever. or like miss a detail.
Yep.
And you don't want them to think that you're like hiding something. So like if you have a lawyer there as a
Yeah.
buffer, like everything's kind of filtered through someone who knows how to like
I just feel like
talk.
it's interesting that they got a lawyer as soon as they announced Gabby Petito was missing and like wouldn't talk. Like they didn't even help find her. Like that's the thing.
Oh.
Like they wouldn't say any details about even finding her.
Okay.
So like that is what really bothers me.
I'm not a defender of the parents here.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I'm trying to think
yeah,
about what I would do.
I do devil's advocate all the time. So
Yeah.
I appreciate that type of view too.
Yeah.
It's just like, I feel like if they were not involved with anything, they would at least be able to say like, well, they were in Utah. He said he came from Utah. Like, look there. Well, sorry, they were not in Utah. They're in Wyoming. So they were in Utah at a different time. But.
So if Dan killed someone, would you protect him?
So I think no, but I want to say as a parent, would I? Like that would be a question I would think about. And when I was researching or like listening to what people said on whether the parents could be like arrested for anything, for not saying anything, like they can't be arrested. If they just tamper with evidence or they purposefully like lie or mislead police and FBI, they can. But they're saying how certain states have like a protection law. So like I think the government, like federally, you like spouses do not have to testify against each other.
Okay.
But some states are parents. Yeah. And I think it makes sense. I didn't realize that like parents, it's only protected in some states. I think they said Florida was one, but it's because it's like, as a parent, you're supposed to protect your child. So it's kind of that conflicting, like, what do you do? Like, do you make them not?
It's an ethical quandary.
Yeah.
Because like, yeah.
And it's difficult. Like,
oh, that's very interesting.
Because I have questioned myself too. I'm like, what if, I don't know. Because if you think about it, like someone else's child is also missing, like you want to at least help find them. But yeah, maybe you don't want your son
For me, I mean, who knows? I'm not a parent, but like for me, when I try to like envision myself in that situation, I think I would want my kid to get arrested if they did something wrong, because I would want them to like face consequences.
Right.
So.
And like, I agree with that. And I feel like it will change if it actually happens, you know? Like, I feel like that might be everyone's thought process, but then you get to that point and you're like, oh crap, what do I do? But
how do you feel about murders generally? Murderers, I should say.
What do you mean how I feel about? I really like criminal stories.
Cool? Okay.
Like I do really like the cold case files or whatever, the ID channel type stuff.
Like the Zodiac.
Yes. Yeah, like that. So okay, now I have to talk about something else. So part of this whole like Gabby Petito Brian Laundrie thing is he's really into serial killer books too. So if you go to his Instagram, if you go to his Instagram book, he talks about all these books that he's read. But yet, like this is some of the stuff that I really entertained me while reading, because like The Lullaby is one, and it like in this book, I went down a rabbit hole. Like I know a lot about this stuff now, but in this book, there's like an environmentalist. I say that because he was like a very big no plastic guy. There was an environmentalist who ended up killing like 2 people on a cross-country camping trip. And so like everyone was like, wow, he loved this book. Is he trying to be that character? And then he did read like the Zodiac Killer book. And what was interesting about that one is like the Zodiac Killer would leave like clues or messages behind and letters to police and stuff. And like the last post on Gabby Petito's Instagram was like different than all her other posts, and it said Happy Halloween on like August 26th or whatever.
Oh, weird.
And so like everyone thought that was him like calling out some weird messaging thing. Again, that's all like speculation stuff. But what I think is interesting is like it made me really interested in these books, because I'm like, well, now I kind of want to read them, because I actually don't know much about the Zodiac Killer. I just like growing up, I feel like you've heard it many times because it's not ancient. It's like decades old, that killer that hasn't been solved. But maybe it has now.
Yeah, they just announced that. I don't know. There's some mixed messaging here from like the FBI and other sources where like some people are saying we got him and other people are saying it's still an open investigation.
It's like this, I forget what they call themselves, cold case investigators. There's like a group of 40 people They're like ex-FBI. I don't know what other.
Just civilians doing it on their own?
Yep.
Cool.
And they do like a bunch of cold cases stuff. And so they think they've identified the Zodiac killer. And I was trying to dig into how. And it seemed like what really set it off was they got access to certain photos. Some type of photo thing. Let me know if you know in the comments. Where like they matched.
Yeah, this isn't a podcast about what we know because we don't know much.
So we're counting on you guys to help us out. But they matched like a scar of this guy to like the sketches that had been done.
Oh.
And so I don't know if he's always been a suspect or not. I was never really clear on that. But they think that's what I felt like that was the final decision maker for them. But there are other like the report that they released had like coincidences. Like, could these really be coincidences? And there's like a list of them.
There's no such thing as a coincidence.
Yeah. Well, okay. I've been thinking about that so much since our conversation about that. But yeah, so then but the FBI and the San Francisco Police Department still say it's an ongoing investigation and that no new information has been found. So
I can't wait to learn more because I think that one was entertaining to me because of all the Ted Cruz memes a few years back. Like that's what like brought it to my attention.
Gotcha. Yep.
Yeah.
No, I'm like interested in that stuff. That's why I really enjoyed watching the O.J. Simpson like remake on Netflix. I think I would have been interested in watching the actual trial then. It's kind of like a thing I enjoy, but again, I feel like a lot of people enjoy that stuff too.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people do. I don't. It's also like I entertain this thought about like if I met a serial killer, would I get like a vibe or something?
Huh, yeah.
Like, do you ever meet someone and you're like, this person is like a black hole. Like there's something empty there. But
well, I wonder if you would, and I wonder if other people just would in general, if you recognize like what a lot of the similar personality traits of someone like that is. Because even going back to like our dark triad test, I feel like some of those are very present in even Brian Laundrie based on like, he was like, it seemed like he was a very controlling boyfriend and very, maybe defensive of Gabby and wanted her to be to himself type thing. That's what I kind of mean by controlling. But so that could be it. A lot of people have speculated that, the narcissism came out and like, it was like he wanted her focused solely on him so much so that maybe he killed her so that she couldn't focus on anything else. Oof. Like that comes up in other narcissistic murderer cases, I feel like. So when we talked about narcissism in the dark triad test, that's the only word I almost associate with criminal cases, about maybe serial killers in general.
I think psychopathy would probably be, because that's like being detached from your like emotions and stuff, right?
Yes.
I don't know if I understand psychopathy well.
No, but I think you might be right. And I feel like they almost, like in my head, I thought they kind of went together, but I used to watch Criminal Minds, I think, on like snow days for school. And I felt like every single time they would talk about the murderer is a narcissist, which I also think it's interesting when you can just describe someone as narcissist. Like, are you diagnosed, or is there a scale of like you're this much on that scale?
Oh, so there's definitely a spectrum. For all of those dark triad things, there's a spectrum. And they're all useful in the real world for people. Like a lot of surgeons, I guess, have like more of the psychopathic traits. Because then they don't get as like twisted up about.
Yeah, that makes sense.
About like, and it doesn't mean that you're like, you can be a good sociopath, right? If you're just like a surgeon and that distance helps you, or that disconnect helps you to like not be emotionally impacted by your work.
Yeah.
Same thing for like psychologists, psychiatrists. Like if they're dealing with like a patient population that commits suicide, like that little bit of like disconnect between you and your emotions can help you like not be like consumed by the work. Yeah,
even like I feel like when COVID first started, I remember seeing a bunch of videos about nurses. Like it would help if nurses didn't, because like they were seeing people die every day type of thing, and it would be very difficult. I could not do that.
The problem, well, I don't know. The thing with like a lot of studies about like sociopathy is it focuses mainly on like criminal populations, right?
Yeah.
So people who like went to jail and have sociopathic tendencies. So
Yep.
that you're seeing like in the studies, you're seeing like bad sociopaths, like people who are doing unethical things and are sociopathic,
Yeah.
as opposed to like ethical sociopaths
Yep.
who can provide some value to society,
Yeah,
right?
no, that makes a lot of sense. And it's good to point out. But yeah, because I feel like it does always come with like a bad connotation.
Yeah.
Based on what you see.
But hey, we both scored super low on the, I don't remember if it was sociopathy or psychopathy on the dark triad test, but in either way.
Psychopathy.
Okay. But shout out to all the sociopaths watching right now.
We love you. Does that look like a heart?
Things are going to get pretty wild from here until when Elisa takes her exam, because we're trying to like be as efficient as possible with this. So you can get in your study time.
Yep.
So we might have more on the fly kind of episodes. I hope you guys,
So that's what you
I hope
mean.
you guys like that. Yeah, that's what I mean by wild.
Getting wild.
Yeah.
And I was like, we don't have anything wild planned.
I don't mean we're throwing water balloons or something.
But yeah. Yeah, I wore my first sweater today because it seems like fall, but it's still hot out. And so I'm like very warm right now.
Oh yeah, even
it's
the
like
basement
70,
here
80 degrees maybe today.
I'm like sticking to my chair and I'm wearing a t-shirt.
Yeah. I don't know. But what's your favorite season, Rylan?
Fall.
Same.
Big time fall.
Are you a pumpkin drinker, eater of anything? Like pumpkin spice lattes, pumpkin pie?
I like the taste of pumpkin, but I never seek it out. But like if there's a pumpkin pie sitting on the table, I'll eat it.
Okay, yep.
I'll mukbang that. That's not the right way. Yeah, so I'll eat like a pumpkin pie, like if it's out there.
Okay.
If someone has a pumpkin spice latte, I'll take a drink, but I won't like order my own.
So I used to always be like, I don't know if I like pumpkin spice lattes that much. But the pumpkin cream cold brews, that's where it's at this year.
Good.
Yeah.
The real reason I like fall is because I really like wearing knitwear. Like a nice knitted sweater.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, so good.
So you like wearing it for the comfortableness?
Yeah, I feel like a big fuzzy teddy bear.
Yep.
I like that. Yeah.
So I think I like fall clothes the most, but I think it's because I like how they look. I like sweaters though a lot too.
Yeah.
But I think, I like wearing jeans and boots a lot. So that's why I like fall for the clothes too. But the weather is also perfect.
So good. Yeah, I like it when it's like a little chill, because then I can like have do like a fire like on the patio, enjoy the warmth and the chill. And yeah, I like a lot of that.
Do you like, have you been to a pumpkin patch or like a hayrack ride of some sort?
I have.
Awesome.
Like when I was young, I did a lot of that kind of stuff. But then like a few years back, like near Chicago, there's this big cornfield maze.
Yep.
It's huge. So I did that. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And I know there's similar stuff around like where we live. So I'm excited to check some of that out. I've heard it's pretty cool here.
Yes. I do think it is very, like most of them are like catered towards kids, but there's something about a lot of the stuff there. Like
we're all kids on the inside.
Yeah. The food, like, I don't know, cider, for example. A lot of people like cider. I don't know if I do, but a lot of people like that. And like, it's just very festive for the season, maybe. Mm-hmm. But also, do you call them hayrack rides?
I think we call them hay rides.
I swear I'm the only, I don't know. Dan doesn't know why I say hayrack ride either. I feel like maybe the place that I went to growing up, that's what they call it. And that's why I do it. But I think it's because the truck or the place where you sit on it is an old hay rack. I don't know what a hay rack is.
Wait, you don't sit on the hay?
No, you do. But I'm thinking like the thing that gets pulled by a tractor is like a giant hay rack where the hay goes into, and then they sit on the hay. There's like hay barrels for seats. I don't know, not barrels, but they're like rectangular prisms. And then you sit on them.
Rectangular prisms?
Isn't that what? Isn't that like a Kleenex box? Going back to like 4th grade. A Kleenex box is a rectangular prism.
And that's our show. Oh, actually, okay. So we got a lot of comments since our last episode.
Oh yeah.
I loved reading through all those comments that we got. Really like when the community's engaging.
Keep it up.
And there was one question in the comments that I've been thinking about, because I don't know exactly how to respond, but I thought maybe I would do it on this episode. So the question was, so I had talked in a previous episode about how once you like achieve so many successes, and I described it as like climbing to the top of a mountain. Once you do that so many times, like achievements that you have in the future may not feel as impactful, or you may realize that like that's not really satisfying, right? So the question that was commented on the video was, if like reaching that point where you've had so many successes affects, it was like, does it affect like how you set your goals or approach your goals going forward? And I was actually just talking about this with another couple that I was getting dinner with last night. And I think for me, and I don't know at what point like this flipped in my head, and maybe it was gradual, but I think for me, it's no longer about like the goal, like the end point. It's no longer about the peak, but it's about like making sure that everything that I'm doing in the moment is like valuable in some way, like to me or like to the company if it's like a career thing. Making sure I'm in like the right place for where I'm at that moment. And so I think for me that's like given me a lot of peace about like where I'm at, because I feel like satisfied in the moment. And because of how I'm approaching like every moment, I'm achieving success even without like needing to be like laser focused on the goal. I'm still meeting like things that in the past I would have considered a goal. Right. So like the example that I gave last night is like when I was like first entering my career and thinking about like, you know, long term, what are my goals? I'm like, yeah, like upper management. I want to be in the C-suite, like CRO, CFO, CEO, whatever. I was just very like, yeah, this is like what I'm driving toward. Now I don't think about that at all. And I would still enjoy that. But it's like, now I'm thinking about like in the moment, like how do I support my team? How do I how do I do my work? How do I be efficient and like prioritize correctly and, you know, delegate and all that fun stuff? And like, am I in the right spot for where I'm at right now? And the more I focus on those things, the more progress I make toward what the younger Rylan was thinking of as his goals. Right. So like, I feel like I'm achieving a lot of success, but because I'm not like focused on like getting at like being at the peak, I'm not like looking at the peak. I'm just like grabbing each rock and I'm making my way up. And that's given me a lot of, like I said, peace and success and satisfaction. Like I feel really good every day. And I mean, what else can I ask for?
Yeah, no, that sounds really good.
So there's my answer. I hope you like it.
I was like, when I saw that question, I had to like really think, and I don't think I still have a good answer. So I don't even know if I'm going to answer this question correctly or directly. But like, I don't know if I've had that feeling. So yeah, maybe that's why I don't know what I would do. But I feel
which feeling?
Where like when you reach the success, it's not as valuable or impactful because you've been there. But I feel like I like change a lot. And so I don't like, I think all the time I have really small goals. And so as soon as I get to one, then I'm like, okay, on to this next thing I wanted to do, on to this next thing I wanted to do. So I'm always constantly like, I want to do something else. I want to do something else. So that's why I don't know if I've ever had the like tipping point of like, I don't know where to go from here. Or like that wasn't as satisfactory. And I think if I get to that point where I'm like, this is not working for me, maybe I do kind of give up and I move on to a different goal. If that makes sense. Because I do have that sense of like, if I'm failing at something I'm not good at, I don't want to do it. That hits me a lot. Yeah. So maybe that's my fallback is like I don't actually follow through with some things if I don't feel good at it.
Interesting.
And like,
so go ahead.
Well, something that hits me with that comment is like back in college, I majored in computer science also. So, one of my computer science professors was telling me, he's like, a lot of times what he's noticed is that females are much better coders than males.
So,
but yeah.
Well, keep going. I'll say something in a minute.
But there are much less of them usually in the field. And he says it's because if they feel like they are not good at something, they quit and they like don't do it. And that's why they're better, because the people who are really good at it stay with it. Whereas like, he's like, I notice other people, especially like males, because it's more male dominant, just like do it just because.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying that they shouldn't. I'm saying that more females should do it just because we can learn and we can get better at things.
Mm-hmm.
But I just thought that was an interesting point he made, because I feel that in myself a lot is like, if I'm not good at something, I don't do it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So you think there's truth to that because you see it in yourself?
Yeah, but I don't know what the underlying cause is of like, is it females or is it like something else?
Like
the
cultural.
way you grew up. Yeah.
Like, yeah. So, this is definitely a tangent, but if you're listening to us and we use the word males and females a lot, I know they're very clinical terms, and I'm trying to like get away from saying females and males a lot, because I know a lot of people get discomforted by those words for different reasons. I do want to explain, like, we're both actuaries, and in our profession, we work with like risk factors based on like different demographics. And so we are clinical about males and females when we do like insurance product rating and stuff. All that to say, it's a habit, and so it's harder for us to break, I think, than like a standard average person in the population, I guess. I'm trying to get better about it, but yeah. So if you hear a slip up, that's what it is. I promise it's like something that I'm trying to get away from, because I had noticed myself like saying females in like a earlier episode, and I was like, yeah, I need to say women. Like,
well, yeah, I don't know if I focus on that much. I didn't realize that maybe that's why I do that.
I think this is something that's been like fairly recently like brought up in the zeitgeist.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I'm learning
every day.
Yeah. Well, and the world just shifts every day.
Yeah.
And so we're always learning.
Well, and I feel like things move faster in the internet age, right?
Yeah.
Like ideas propagate so much faster for, and in a lot of cases for the better, in a lot of cases for the worse. But
I feel like, it's because information travels so quickly and easily, and influences a lot of people at one time.
Right.
So yeah, good point.
That's what I'm here for.
Yeah, I'm glad you saw that question, because I'm definitely meant to bring it up when we were talking about ideas.
Yeah,
and I forgot.
And I wish I could remember better how exactly it was phrased. It might have been about like motivation too. And so maybe I'll just also say I don't feel any less motivated, but I think that's because of how my mindset shifted, because I'm no longer looking at like the end point.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at like short and medium term,
yeah,
and being more focused on like living in the moment.
It reminds me of like those like cliche wall hangings that say it's not about something, it's about the journey. It's not about the destination. Yeah. It's about the journey. Yeah. That's what it reminded me of, and I like that. Because I feel like I've said this before, I'm like a go with the flow type of person. And I think that is what helps me enjoy life sometimes, is just because like, this is happening, this is awesome, type thing, which I realize is not how everyone works. I feel like that's just some way my brain works. But
it's unfortunate that platitudes sound so cheesy, because a lot of times they have truth in them. So
is that, I guess I don't know if is that like an attitude that you can't, what is platitude?
Oh, that's like those like corny sayings, like it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. It's like all like anything that you would see on those motivational wall posters is probably a platitude.
Okay, I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
I I don't have a very big vocabulary, very big, meaning like I feel like I ask people all the time what words mean. And I feel like you always have a good explanation. Sorry, Dan. Dan is always like, I don't know. And then he has to Google it. But he's really good at using a lot of words. He just doesn't know how to explain them to me. So we do a lot of Googling.
I've explained words to people before and have been off in my explanation. So I wouldn't, just because it sounds like I know what I'm talking about doesn't mean I know what I'm talking about.
What is the word you said earlier today? Languid.
Yeah. And I explained it as like, so cats have like two ways that they clean themselves. Like you might see like if a cat is like agitated and kind of wild, they'll like real quick like do a lick. That's not languid. Languid is when a cat is like chilling out for the night and they decide to like do their full bath and they're just like very calmly, like heavy lidded eyes, like cleaning themselves. That's a languid state.
Yep.
So I hope you all have languid states this evening.
I feel like some of you who might be listening might be good with words. You should think of a word and I'll try to use it in the next episode.
Yeah, comment your words so that we can hear Elisa say a bunch of
I'm only going to do one.
Words.
One per episode. Because they say like the best way to know new words is to use them. So gotta use them. I also need to read more.
Indubitably.
Yeah. That reminds me of The Princess Bride. What's the word they say there? I don't remember.
Yeah, I'm not going to remember off the top of my head.
It's okay. I know someone will know. We talked a lot about movies today, I feel like.
Yeah.
Or TV shows.
Which
is surprising because I don't know movies.
I'm so hungry.
Okay. I guess he's hungry. Are you saying it or am I saying it?
Thank you all for joining us. This has been another episode of the Who You Know podcast. It's been an interesting hayrack ride.
Hayrack ride.
Bye.